So for the mechanical trigger setup, you're simply going to install the trigger bracket and go ahead and screw that into place. And please note, and I do apologize in advance, that this installation can be a little more finicky. This is something that I added as a bonus feature, and it was something that I really wanted to add, and there's some design constraints there, and I was trying to make this as efficient and really inexpensive as possible. I don't like the idea of people having to cut things or trim things or glue things or anything like that, so please bear with me. So you want to install this bracket. All the other steps for the shell assembly are pretty much going to be the same. Let me put this aside and focus on the triggers. There are these stems. These are little keyboard switch adapter stems. So I recommend install it into the trigger, and it should be flush. We're gonna do this with both. Take your mechanical switch, and we want to make sure that this side with the hinge is towards the flat side. And you want to install so that it's kind of flat. And this is probably just a design consideration that I didn't think about, but it can spin, which does matter. And this is the part where it gets a little finicky. But because of the design constraints and how this needed to be flush, it made it a little more difficult to try to make this not something that could spin, but also have the little stem. The reason why I did that is because I wanted this to be compatible with OEM triggers. So if you have a Nintendo trigger or a resin cast trigger, you can use this stem on those and it should fit just fine. But we're going to do this for both triggers. Okay? You kind of want to make sure those are flat. Next thing, we're going to go to the rear shell. We're going to put these in place, not too dissimilar to what we did before. And it does slot in a kind of very specific way. The shell is molded to perfectly fit these triggers. And you'll see that without the rear shell in place and without the trigger bracket, this has a little bit of wiggle, which will prevent it from pressing smoothly. But when everything is together, this should press without much resistance at all. And the other thing you want to do preemptively is take this cable and kind of bend it around like so, because you will have to kind of snap this together and plug it in while you're sandwiching together. And I hope you can see now why it is a little finicky, and you want to avoid having the wires pinched, etc., etc. So I'm going to do both. If you find that it's not really pressing smooth in any configuration, you might take it out and make like a little micro adjustment to the rotation, get it just right, because it does need to be just right. And I promise once it fits, it will feel, you'll know when it's right. And for this wire, I'm gonna just push this down in place, up like so. So we're gonna leave that as is for now. The rest of your assembly is basically gonna be the same, and I'll show you how we sandwich that together. Okay, so I've got my front half, that's all assembled, and I already tested everything. You're gonna have to take this and kind of turn it upside down, and you're gonna have to work on getting those connectors into place. Especially if you're doing the wireless and you have the battery in there and everything, you know, this will take a little bit of finessing. So I plugged in this side, and now I'm gonna turn it around. We'll deal with the Z button in a second. It just fell out. I got my tweezers. This will make it a little bit easier. I'm gonna kind of get this into the socket. And that's plugged in. Now let's deal with this Z button without pulling this apart. I'm gonna kind of drop this in. I can use my tweezers as well. Looks good. And we'll go ahead and sandwich this together. We'll make sure everything feels good. Left one, not so much. Right one's okay. And you might have to do this a couple times. Just pulling it apart, kind of adjusting trigger. And then being careful. You kind of sandwich that back together. Try to make sure my trigger's in place. This is finicky. It will be frustrating. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. But when it works, it works. Those are feeling good. These are resin cast buttons, which I'm leaving in. Okay, and that's basically it. You can do the rest of your build as normal.